Today we will share the birth story of Lord Ganesha. Mount Kailash was the abode of Lord Shiva and Goddess Parvati. Lord Shiva would stay out most of the times, fulfilling his responsibilities, and Mata Parvati would be alone at Kailash. One such day, Mata Parvati went to take a bath, and wishing not to be disturbed by anyone, she decided to make a statue of a child from haldi or turmeric and breathed life into the statue. She named him Lord Ganesha, who was very much loyal to her. She ordered him to guard the abode while she was bathing. It was after a while when Lord Shiva arrived and was about to enter their home, but was repeatedly resisted by Lord Ganesha. Not knowing fully of Lord Ganesha's origin, Lord Shiva ordered his forces to destroy him. But owing to all the powers bestowed on Lord Ganesha by Mata Parvati, Lord Ganesha defeated all the forces. Lord Shiva, unable to control his rage, ended up beheading Lord Ganesha. When Mata Parvati came to know what happened, she threatened to demolish the entire universe. But on repeated consolations from Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva and Lord Vishnu, she relented on one condition, that Lord Ganesha should be brought back to life. Lord Shiva at once ordered his troops to go to the forest and bring the head of the first animal they find. Wandering through the forest, they found an elephant and brought back his head that was placed on Lord Ganesha's body. Eventually, Lord Shiva brought back his life and accepted him as his own son. This is a wonderful story of how Lord Vishnu relented to Lord Ganesha's playfulness. Lord Vishnu had a conch or Sankha that was very much dear to him, and he kept it with himself all the times. Suddenly one day, he found out that the conch or the Sankha was no more in its place, and he couldn't find it anywhere. He got extremely annoyed with this, and he employed all his powers in finding the conch. While searching for the conch, Lord Vishnu suddenly heard the sound of his Sankha coming from a distance. When he started in that direction, he soon understood that the sound was emanating from Mount Kailash itself. When he reached there, he was amazed to find out that Lord Ganesha was busy blowing his Sankha he had been looking for. He knew that Lord Ganesha would not give up easily, so he went to Lord Shiva for help, asking him to request Lord Ganesha to give back the Sankha to him. But Lord Shiva said that he also didn't have the power to mold Lord Ganesha's wishes, and advised Lord Vishnu to perform a puja for him to appease him. So Lord Vishnu started setting up all the necessary requirements for the puja and worshipped Lord Ganesha with full heart. With this, Lord Ganesha was extremely pleased and returned the Sankha to Lord Vishnu. There are many tales of Lord Shiva and Lord Ganesha, but this story takes us beyond the relationship between a father and a son, and an important lesson is learned from this. When with the procurement of elephant head, Lord Ganesha was brought back to life, Lord Shiva heeded to Mata Parvati's wishes and declared it as a rule that it would always be necessary to worship Lord Ganesha and get his blessings before starting any new endeavor. However, Lord Shiva forgot to apply the rule to himself on one occasion. When Lord Shiva one day was heading out for a war with the demons with his entire army, he forgot to worship Lord Ganesha in a hurry before leaving for the battle, which led them to face many problems while going to the battlefield. The carriage wheel damaged, and they could not progress further. Lord Shiva understood immediately, and he remembered that he completely forgot to worship Lord Ganesha before leaving for the battle. Lord Shiva ordered his troops to set up the worship for Lord Ganesha and complete the rituals. After this, Lord Shiva proceeded and they successfully defeated the demons. This story reflects how the entire universe is a part of the Almighty Mother and how everything emanates from her. Lord Ganesha was a mischievous child, and his indulgence in naughty activities were numerous. One day while he was playing, he came across a cat and decided to play some prank with it. He lifted up the cat and started pulling its tail. He threw it on the ground and started laughing at it, while the cat meowed in pain. He failed to notice it and continued to play around until he was tired and then returned home. When he reached Mount Kailash, Lord Ganesha was shocked to see Mata Parvati lying down with her body covered with wounds, and she was crying in agony. Lord Ganesha rushed to her and wanted to know who was actually responsible for that. To that, Mata Parvati replied that he was responsible for that. Actually, the cat was a form of Mata Parvati, and she wished to play around with Lord Ganesha, but he treated her very ruthlessly, and therefore his actions were the causes of the wounds that reflected on his mother's body. Lord Ganesha felt utterly sorry for his behavior and took an oath that from then onwards he would treat all animals in a gentle manner with care and affection. Do you know how Kaveri river was created? The story begins with a sage named Agastya who thought of creating a river from which all the people of southern lands could reap the benefits. He was presented with a small bowl containing water from the gods. He knew that the river would emanate wherever he poured the water, but he decided to go beyond the mountains to create the origin of the river. The journey made him extremely tired, so he sat down for some rest. When he found a small boy standing alone, he told the boy to hold the pot for him while he relieved himself, not knowing that it was Lord Ganesha himself, who knew the purpose of the pot water, and set down the pot knowing that the place was perfect for the river. When Agastya Muni returned, he found it on the ground and a crow trying to quench his thirst from the pot. He tried to shoo away the crow that led to tipping over of the pot, which led to Kaveri river's origination. Lord Ganesha is the epitome of knowledge and wisdom. This spectacular story demonstrates this. Lord Ganesha's younger brother is Lord Kartikeya. Both of them got along well, but they also had arguments and fights just like all other siblings. One day Lord Ganesha and Lord Kartikeya found a unique fruit in a forest, and both of them grabbed at it together. They refused to share the fruit with each other and started fighting for it. On reaching Mount Kailash, both related their stories to Lord Shiva and Mata Parvati. Finding them in a dilemma, Lord Shiva proposed an idea. He knew that the fruit, if eaten by the rightful bearer, was known to grant immortality and extensive knowledge. To decide this, Lord Shiva threw up a challenge. He declared that the rightful owner of the fruit will be the one who will be the first to circumvent their world 3 times and return to Mount Kailash. On hearing this, Lord Kartikeya immediately strode onto his pet peacock and speedily flew to complete his 3 revolutions around the earth. But Lord Ganesha was little slower than his brother Kartikeya, and his pet Mushak Maharaj couldn't fly. Rethinking about Lord Shiva's proposal properly, Lord Ganesha started to walk around Mata Parvati and Lord Shiva, thereby completing 3 circles around them. When inquired by Lord Shiva, he replied that his parents were more than the world to him, and that they were his entire universe. Lord Shiva was deeply moved and impressed by the wisdom of Lord Ganesha, and declared him the rightful owner of the fruit. Have you heard the story of Lord Ganesha's single tusk? We all know that Vedavyas created Mahabharata, but it is also known to everyone that Lord Ganesha himself wrote it. Lord Ganesha was approached by Vedavyas so that he could write down the epic while he narrated it to him. But Vedavyas gave a condition that he would narrate the whole story without break, and Lord Ganesha had to write it in a single attempt. As the writing of the story progressed, a point came when the quill with which Lord Ganesha was writing broke down, and no other quills were there at that moment. But Vedavyas did not stop narrating the story. So without any waste of time, Lord Ganesha broke off one of his tusks and designed it into a pen, thereby continuing to write the epic without interruption. This turned it into one of the greatest holy epics ever written. Have you heard the story of sweet Kheer before? Well, let's find it out. Once Lord Ganesha came to a village taking the form of a boy, holding milk in one hand and rice on the other. He started seeking for help to prepare some Kheer, but nobody bothered to pay heed to this little boy. He came across a poor woman's hut who, on being requested, agreed to prepare the Kheer for him. She started mixing it together, and after setting the pot to cook, she fell asleep and the boy went out to play. When she woke up, she found out that the kheer she had prepared was extremely delicious. She was so hungry that she couldn't resist the desire to eat it. But before starting to eat, she took out some kheer in a bowl and offered it to Lord Ganesha's idol and then resumed eating the kheer. She kept on eating the kheer but could never finish the pot. When the woman found the boy has returned, she confessed that she had eaten some kheer from the pot as she was very hungry and handed it over to the boy. With this, the boy told her that he had eaten it too, while she was offering the bowl of kheer to Lord Ganesha's idol. The woman, realizing the true form of the boy, started crying at his feet, and Lord Ganesha blessed her with wealth and health.